Hi everybody, this is Peggy with the Savvy Squad and Real Essentials, and today I wanted to show you a little bit about our Savvy brushes. We have gotten the opportunity finally. Some of us have been waiting for a while. Some of you got on it right away back at convention, but some of us had to wait, and we got our brushes in. You may have gotten yours. You may still be waiting, so I wanted to talk to you about them, whether you have them or you're waiting on them or going to get them at some point. But I have to tell you, you got to get these brushes. They're great. They come like this in their own little case, and it says Savvy Minerals, beautiful logo and everything. Beautiful black on the outside and bright pink on the inside, and those are the 5 brushes that you can see right there. The center section is a zipper case that you could open up, put some of your cosmetics in, your makeup, take them with you, obviously your misting spray, put them inside that, zip it back up, everything up, zip and go. You could take it in your gym bag if you're going to the gym or on a trip, and you'd have everything you needed right there with you with your brushes, and your brushes would be nicely cared for and not just stuffed down in a bag. So these are the 5, and we're going to talk about them. The first one I'm going to talk about is your foundation brush. It says foundation right there. I wanted to show you that along with the logo because you don't have to guess. I didn't have to guess. I don't have to tell you, I think this is what this is. I know what it is. Also, you may have foundation brushes at home that you're currently using. I did. Mine looked kind of like this. I don't know what yours looked like. These are synthetic bristles. These were natural bristles, and I thought that was better. So when I got those sets years ago, I thought that buying the natural was better, and I have found since, especially after using these, that I don't agree with that anymore at all. Mainly because not only are these wonderful and soft and feel fantastic, these in my old type would break off, and you can see, if you could see them in person, you'd see they're deteriorated, and they would break off with bristles all over my face, and I would end up having to get those off and spend about as much time doing that, even to the point where one time one got under my skin like a splinter and I had to get it out. So I don't recommend those anymore at all, and I love these. They feel fantastic. But this is your foundation brush. That would be one you probably would start with each day, and you would just, tap the foundation onto your lid, as we've talked about before, or you might have seen or heard before. I use the misting spray. I spritz that on the end about 3 times, wipe the excess off, pick up the minerals, and then do the circular motions all over my face. And that's what I would use my foundation brush for. So let me show it to you a little bit more closely so that you can see it really well. Wonderful, compact, short bristle, but see how soft it is? It's awesome. The next one I would use each day probably would be the blush brush. Again, there's your blush brush. It's got a little bit longer bristle, a little bit softer head, kind of thinner. It's not as rounded as the foundation brush. You might have other brushes like I did from the past, and I don't know, you just can't even tell, but these are deteriorating and not great. This one is awesome. It's wonderful. It feels fantastic. It feels great, and it does a great job of putting your blush on. So that's your blush. You might also use this as you're contouring with your bronzers. That would be another use. So you might do that. You could take it to the top of your nose, side of your nose, wherever, and use your blush brush. There is another brush called a blending brush in your set. It's smaller than your blush brush, longer bristles again, very, very soft. You can see how soft that is. This could be used to put on your under eye concealer. It could be used as let's say I put my crease color on my shadows on a little bit too dark that day. I could use this to blend it in, and I don't have to tug with my finger. You could also blend between, like if I am using a concealer with my foundation, also I don't want there to be a stopping point. I want that to blend. On my jaw, I want it to blend. Into my hairline, I might want it to blend. All kinds of ways. You could also use this instead of your blush brush. You could use this for your bronzers, for highlighting, or if you're using a lighter foundation for highlighting, you could use this to blend as well. The next brush is your eyeshadow brush. Very classic shape. I think you can see that. Very, kind of normal and standard. What I love about this one that I haven't seen in many is, can you see how thin it is and how it comes almost to a point, almost like a wedge point, even though it fans out to the point. I love that because then I can use it sideways like I would usually use to put my eyeshadows on, but that thin edge can give you a great way to put your color into your crease of your lid, to get a really good into that crease, but also you could also use it in your smoky eye look, like right along your lashes or fanning out to your edges. Great brush, best one I've ever seen. If you have, this is my old one, similar shape, but this is bigger, much better brush, and again, the synthetic fibers that work so wonderfully well. So the last brush in our Savvy Mineral set is our veil brush. The veil is the very last thing that you put on. It's the kind of finishing powder, finishing minerals almost. The color that we have right now is called Diamond Dust. I secretly call it my magic fairy dust. Just a beautiful overall, but feel how soft, well, you can't feel. I'm gonna show you how soft and wonderful this brush is. I actually think that this should just be called the therapy brush because it feels so great. It just feels so great on your face, and I just want to touch it all the time. I just want to stroke it all the time. Wonderful brush. The closest I had to something like this was this. We do call it the big fluffy brush, but these are kind of, not even close. So this is your veil brush. Another great use for your veil brush is if you are using any of your foundations non-misted, not foiled, they will be dry obviously, and they might fall out on your face and other places, like from your brows onto your cheeks or whatever, and you don't want that. Take your big fluffy brush out and just kind of dust it off, and it's gone. It feels great. It's gone, and you're ready to go, and you don't have to try to move it with your hand and maybe smear it. It'll just pick your minerals up and you don't have any problems. So that is the Savvy set that we got with our wonderful full PV in our case, and it came out this month. I hope you got your set. I hope, if not, you're getting ready to get your set, and that it'll be coming soon. Beyond this set, I do have a few that I use. I use this wedge angled brush that is good for my eyebrows because we don't have this in our set. Here's another one that is not angled like this one is. It's got a much finer point. I can use that for my brows if I want. I could also use it with that very thin edge. I could do my eyeliner with it. The other brush I'm using for my eyeliner is actually a lip brush, and it's like a little paintbrush almost. Very, very thin point, if you can see that. And when I mix my eyeliner up, I'm using the multitasker with misting spray into a liquid in my lid, I can just paint that right on, but I could also do it with something like this if it's got a very fine edge. Or I've even used this that's not got a fine edge. This is a little bit wider edge if you want a thicker line. And if you've got really thick lashes, you may want a thicker line. I've got very thin lashes, so I don't. And then I use this one just to brush my brows, maybe to blend in my brow color a little bit, because I do use my brow color in dry. I don't mist it, and that's what I put that on with. So you may need a few extras. You may have them in your stash already, but here are your Savvy Minerals in our wonderful case, the 5. If you have any questions, please let us know. We'd love to answer your questions, and I hope you're getting your set, because this is a set that we're going to keep for life. Now, the other thing I wanted to show you briefly is somebody nicely gave me this is called a brush egg, and it's a little silicone egg to wash your brushes, and you can see it's got a little bit of a surface to it. So when I clean my brushes, I'll get my brush wet. I've got Thieves foaming hand wash right there beside my sink. What better thing to wash my brushes with? I'll put a little bit in my hand and onto the egg here, onto this brush egg, and I will just scrub and scrub and scrub and scrub until they come clean and rinse them off. But you notice I'm doing it this way. I'm showing this on purpose because you don't want to be scrubbing your brushes like that and get that makeup driven back down into the bristles or into the base down here and the water. You don't want it that way. So when you're washing your brushes, do it like this. and scrub and scrub and scrub. You can do it on your hand if you don't have a scrubber. You do it on a washcloth, anything you want. But you should use your brushes this way when you're cleaning them to preserve them. And then just reshape them and lay them out to dry, like on a towel, or you could even put them in a glass or something upright like this to let them dry, and that'll take care of these. It'll take care of your face, because once a week at least washing your brushes will help you tremendously in that, and get any extra makeup that's on them off and keep them very nice and clean, and preserve your face, preserve your makeup, and preserve your brushes, because this is an investment. So Savvy Mineral brushes, I hope you like them. Let us know if you have any questions. Thank you.